Welcome to FBB Forum. If you like this content, please be sure to like and subscribe to my Instagram and YouTube pages. I'm very pleased to welcome back the stunning IFBB Women's Physique Pro and competitor, Jess Falborn, back to the podcast. I last spoke with Jess back in July of 2023, and now she is planning on making her pro debut later this year in 2024. And you may have also seen her in 2023 doing some great athlete interviews for NPC News Online, and she's also emceed some recent shows. So we'll talk about that too. Welcome, Jess. It's great to have you here again. Thank you.
Thanks, David. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be back on with you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You're really awesome, and I'm really excited for you this year. So I was just curious, what have you been up to in the past year? Because you took 2023 off. And like I said, we last spoke in July of 2023, but how was the year off go?
You know, I was just saying this to someone the other day. I posted on my Instagram a comparison from 12 weeks out from winning my pro card in 2022 to 12 weeks out from my pro debut now in 2024. And the changes that we made were crazy. And I say that because in 2023, like when you're in the thick of your off season, and I'm sure like anyone who's competed can relate to this, but especially women, like when we pack on body fat in like a healthy way, you can't always see the changes, right? So you're just like hoping that you're making those changes. I mean, you may see strength gains, you may feel better, whatever your measure of progress is. But as the body fat layers have kind of peeled back and we could do the comparison, now I'm able to see like the things that I was told that I had to improve upon, we did. And so 2023 went really well. And I never had planned to take that much time off, but coming off stage after winning my pro card, and like that was just a race to get there in like, I don't know, 4 years it took me to get my pro card. And I just was nonstop. I needed to give my body a break. So like 2023 was really great for me health wise, mentally, professionally, financially. Like I was able to spend time on other things that I really hadn't been able to spend time on as I was like working to get my pro card. So it was really good.
That's terrific. What I have noticed with a lot of the women that compete to take a full year off, they come back better than ever. And I really think it's good for your health, and it's probably good for you to grow and maybe be even better when you do come back.
Absolutely, I agree. And I mean, for me mentally, at first it was a tough pill to swallow because I wanted to do my pro debut immediately. And we knew that wasn't going to happen in 2023. I'm sorry, in 2022. And then in 2023, I wanted to do my pro debut. And we, you know, with the advice of my coach, he was like, just wait, just take some time, because for me the toughest part has not been putting on tissue, it's been getting conditioned enough. And if you were to look at my past 4 times on stage, my most conditioned look was my second year on stage, my first national show. After that I wasn't nearly as conditioned. And so the goal this time is, okay, now I have the size, I have the shape, I have the muscularity, I have the structure. We're going to bring that conditioning that I had when I first started competing, because we've worked on a lot of the underlying issues. For me, it was a lot of like gut issues, things that I had been ignoring for a while just to stay on stage. So I think this is going to be the best look that I've brought to stage.
That's very exciting. I'm excited for you too. Yeah. And you've looked really good in like some of the training videos you've done recently
Thanks.
too. Yeah.
And I mean, strength is at an all-time high. I will say, like, this week was the first week I started to feel strength dip a little bit, but that's normal. Like, we're 11 weeks out and food is pretty low because we're trying to get ready really early. So, so you see a little bit of strength dips, but overall, I'm the strongest I've ever been. I feel the healthiest I've ever felt. I mean, I don't feel exhausted all the time. Up until like maybe 2 weeks ago, I really didn't even feel like I was in a competition prep. So,
Wow.
so yeah, it just feels different, but in all the right ways.
That's terrific. That's a really good. That's a good sign for sure. Yeah. I was curious, where do you plan on making your pro debut this year?
All right, this is an FBB Forum exclusive.
Nice.
Well, I think most people have figured it out based on how many weeks out I've said. I am, but I'm planning on doing my pro debut at the St. Louis Pro on April 27th.
Wow.
And so that's been the plan because I wanted to do an earlier show. And I also plan to do the New York Pro. I live 20 minutes from the venue. Like it's my home state, and it's been a dream to do the New York Pro forever. So I
Nice.
didn't. We played around with the idea of that being my pro debut, but I really wanted to get on stage before that. And regardless of if I win St. Louis Pro or not, I'm still getting on the stage in New York because that's just my dream to be on that stage.
So the St. Louis would be a good one to start off with because it's smaller and yeah, and to show off what you worked on in the last year or so. So yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
No, that's terrific. And you mentioned so you're going to do New York after. Do you think if you do you think you might do any shows after New York or is
If
that
I
going to
need
be it?
to, yeah, if I need to, like my goal, however unrealistic it sounds to some people, is to qualify for the Olympia in my rookie year. So I want to win my pro debut, and I don't think that's crazy for people to say and to aim for. Like I come to win. I've never placed lower than second place. And I know that, I mean, being in the pro league now, it's completely different, but that's still my goal, right? And I come to win. And so if we don't secure a win at St. Louis, I aim to win at the New York Pro. And if we don't secure a win at the New York Pro, I will. We have a plan for some other shows that would look good, but I mean, like my good friend Sean Clarito always says, no plan B. Like there's no plan B for me. My plan A is to win, and win I will. It's a matter of which stage I'll win.
That's terrific. That's very exciting, and I think you could definitely pull off a win this year. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I feel good about it, and it's the same feeling that I had before I won my pro card in 2022. And if anyone has watched on my YouTube channel, I have a series that was leading up to my pro card win. And then we just filmed the first episode of my series leading up to my pro debut. But the last episode we filmed before I won my pro card, like I said to the camera, I was like, I am confident I'm going to win. You guys will see me again when I am a pro. And I just had that feeling, like I just knew, I was certain that it was going to happen. And I kind of have that feeling again. I'm not saying when it's going to happen, but I have this feeling that I'm going to be on that Olympia stage, and I'm not going to do this forever. Like this is not my forever thing. I have other things I want to pursue in life. So
Mhm.
my thought process has always been like I'm going to give it 100% while I'm doing it and achieve everything that I want to achieve while I'm in this game.
That's terrific. I think that's great. I was curious, were you disappointed when the point system was taken away? Because I think that's taken away a path to get to the Olympia, but I didn't know if that or did you mind that being, or what did you feel about that when they did take that away?
I was kind of mixed about it because I think it
Mhm.
dilutes the quality of athlete on stage. Because think about it, like I could do 10 shows and get there on points, and like
Mhm.
an athlete that has to take 10 shows to get to the Olympia just quite frankly isn't the same caliber as an athlete that can outright win a show.
That's true.
And for women's physique, I think, I mean, it's a little bit different for us because we don't have as many opportunities. And not as few as like 212. They have four opportunities. The 212 guys have four opportunities in the United States to get to the Olympia, which is really unfortunate. Women's physique, I think maybe we have like 10, maybe a little bit more than that. It's
Mhm.
not like we're like other divisions that have like 50 chances, right? Like,
That's
so I
true.
think it's good for divisions like bikini or men's physique, for example, where the point system allowed for like, gosh, so many competitors, and then the Olympia took for freaking ever.
Mhm.
Um, and it doesn't feel as special, right? So in that breath, I feel like it's a little bit better because it gives us really quality athletes on the stage.
Mhm.
But then of course, like as soon as I heard that, I was like, darn it, of course, like now that I'm trying to get to the Olympia stage, like I can't qualify on points. Like I can't qualify on like a couple second or third place finishes. I have
Yeah,
to win a show. But I'm all for it. I love the competition. So part of me was like a little bit bummed out, but then overall, I think it's just better for competition. It's better for business. It's better for the flow of the Olympia. better for the sport. So I'm all for it.
I've heard too from some ladies that it's the point system is not good for your health, because if you're chasing a qualification based on points and you're doing a bunch of shows,
Yeah,
that's really rough on your body
it
too.
is.
So
It is.
that's probably not a good thing. And
Yeah.
especially and I was thinking women's bodybuilding, there's so few opportunities, for instance, to women's physique is definitely better, but yeah, no, I've kind of learned to grow into it, and at first I didn't like them getting rid of points, but now I kind of understand why.
Yeah, and you're right. Like to all of the women who said that, to their point, like there's if I say worst case scenario, I don't win a show in the first two or three that I do, I think my coach and I would have to sit down and think about the feedback, think about what we would need to change or improve upon, and decide if continuing this year or taking a break and then coming back next year would be wise, just based on like health. Like I've never in my career, I've never done more than one show in a year, so I don't know
Mm,
how my body is going to rebound between shows. I'm
mhm.
confident that now that I'm healthy and I have the best possible coach I could have, who understands me and genuinely cares, I'm confident I'll be able to do it. But I've never done it before, and so I don't
Mm.
want to end up doing 4, 5, 6 shows just to get to the Olympia in my first year, when like I don't have to, that because that would really not be beneficial for my health.
I understand. No, I don't think that's really good for your health at all either. So yeah. Um, um, I don't mean to sound like I'm objectifying, but you are really beautiful too. So I think you
Thank you.
bring a lot of beauty to the stage too. So I don't think that hurts your chances of winning too.
I am really um I feel really strongly about keeping femininity in female bodybuilding as
Yeah.
a whole, not the division, but as a whole, as women on stage. And I think everyone's going to run their own race, everyone's going to make their own decisions, um, and not everyone's. It's not going to be apples to apples, right? So I'm not here to put anyone else down that brings a different look to stage, but when I got into bodybuilding, I looked at like Dana Lynn Bailey and Juliana Malacarne, and like Juliana is just so beautiful to this day, still so feminine and so beautiful, and she
Yeah.
maintained that and like has gone on to have a family. And I don't want bodybuilding to limit all of that other stuff for me. And I'm still a woman, and I still want to keep that femininity. And of course, like as you get closer to a show, you lose some of your feminine curves, and like it's just inevitable because you have to be shredded to be on that stage. But
Mhm.
it's is really important to me to keep that. And again, I go back to that's why my coach is such a great match for me, and he's such a great coach for women, especially women's physique competitors, because he cares very much. Like if I have a side effect or a symptom that I'm not okay with, I communicate that with him, no
Mhm.
problem. And he
Cool.
knows I'm not complaining, it's just me being transparent. And he's like, okay, well, let's try this or let's do this. Or it's just a frank conversation like, listen, these are the risks that we've accepted, are you still okay with this? And then it's
Mhm.
up to me to make that decision. So I appreciate you saying that, because it is really, really important to me to continue to bring a feminine presence to the bodybuilding stage.
Oh, I agree with you on that. And I think that to make, bodybuilding more marketable and to keep it going, keep it a going concern, I think keeping femininity is really important.
It
Uh,
is.
not just from a fan perspective, but just from a business perspective, I think. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, you got to keep, the more feminine we are, the healthier that means we are, right? And then
Hmm.
we can continue to participate in the sport, pay into the sport, promote it, be good ambassadors for it. So I think making sure that the athletes are healthy while also meeting all of the qualifications and the standards and the criteria is really important. And so I don't think it's anyone else's responsibility necessarily than the athletes. And so if me bringing a very feminine look to stage would be something that would not allow me to win, I don't think I would change anything. Like I still think, like I said, Juliana, Dana Lynn Bailey, like those women, Shanique Grant, like those women were beautiful on stage.
Hmm.
And even if that physique wouldn't win today, that's still a physique that I would want. So I'm okay with that.
Sure, I understand. And I agree with you on those ladies too. They kind of set the standard, I think, in terms of femininity and in women's physique. And I think there's some women like I think Sherry Pirami, for instance, in women's bodybuilding, they're bringing the femininity and the beauty too. So
But I mean, look at Christina Mendoza. Like
yeah,
I
she's
met
amazing.
Christina at Texas Pro, and I just think she's so stunning on stage and still exhibits like female bodybuilding muscularity, right?
Yeah,
So, um, some people may say that that's not exactly what women's bodybuilding is, and they should be maybe harder or drier or whatever. I mean, I would go watch her all day. Like that's my style. So
I agree with you on that. She is amazing, and I was sad that she couldn't compete this past year, but I understand why. She was just kind of prepped out. She was just tired and
yeah,
needed
yeah.
health wise too.
I mean, she had done what, like two shows, and she didn't do as well as she wanted to at the her last showing, which I think was like, was it Wings of Strength? Yeah. So
I think
I
so.
I think I mean I won't speak on her, but I think going into the Olympia, you want to be riding a high and you want to be like really healthy and feel good about it. So
Hmm.
I think that's a decision that like many athletes have to make, but I think specifically women too. Like we're like, are we going to run our body into the ground, or are we going to save what we have for this year and then double down next year?
Sure, I understand. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Um, Now, are you still working with the same coaches? When we last spoke, you had Justin Jacoby for
Yep,
prep and Kenny Wallach, I believe, for posing. You're still
yep,
working with them?
yep. That's my team. Those are my guys.
Terrific. Yeah, Justin has really attracted a lot of good athletes, I think, and he seems like a really good coach.
It's a
What would you
phenomenal.
say makes them good coaches?
They care. Like they really do care. I like for Justin. So excitingly, I'm Justin's assistant coach now too. So I work with him.
Oh
So not
yeah.
only does he coach me, but I also work with him as well.
Wow.
And it's been a great opportunity for me because he not only like takes an interest in and cares about my progress as an athlete, but also, sorry, my dog is pushing around her bone.
Oh, no
um,
problem.
but also he cares about my health and longevity and my development as in my like professional career too. So um, he cares and he's very attentive. And I will say, like, working with different coaches in the past, like Justin doesn't take a cookie cutter approach, and him and I have had a lot of conversations about this. The coach I had before him, the thing that stands out in my brain is when something wasn't working, he said to me, "I don't understand why this doesn't work on you. It works on everyone else."
Hmm.
And that to me was okay. F you. Like
Mhm.
I'm not like the same as everyone else, and no one is the same, right? And when I went to Justin, I noticed that him and I have talked, and he's like, okay, this is how you know if something is going to work with someone, and if this doesn't work then we do this, and if this doesn't work then we do this. And he's very he customizes his approach, but once you know the different kind of like ways or variables, you kind of know how to like bucket your athletes into different kind of categories. And
Mhm.
he's really good about asking a lot of questions, getting feedback, listening to how you feel, and checking in almost daily with me, asking, how do you feel today? Like, how does the physique look? What does our weight look like? And at that point, it just becomes turnkey. Like we know, for example, we know if I hit a little bit of a plateau with my weight dropping during the week, we may end up doing a high carb day, and then on that high carb day, we do no cardio, we do no fat burners, and we do an ice bath at the end of the day.
Mhm.
I still have to train, but we're not taxing the body with additional cardio.
Mhm.
And the high carbs allow me to get a little bit of like a reset, or like a rest, if you will. And he is okay with like communicating constantly with me on that stuff. Whereas other coaches I've had, they're just like, check in once a week. Like they don't want to hear from you in the middle of the week. You ask them questions, they don't respond to them. So the level of attentiveness and care that he shows his athletes, and it's not just the women. Like I've seen him work with male athletes, and it's the same thing. Like
Mhm.
no question is dumb, and as long as you're giving him 100%, he's going to give you 100%. So not only do I think he's a great coach, but I've learned a lot from him to make me an even better coach as well.
That's terrific. That's so cool too that you're like an assistant coach with him too. How long have you worked with him as as an assistant like that?
So we'll have like a more formal announcement coming out probably later this month. But I've been mentoring under him since probably last July when we spoke. So
Mm-hmm.
that was when we had our first conversation about it. And I had like imposter syndrome when he mentioned this to me. I was like, did you mean to send this message to me? Like, was this for someone else? It's like I've been coaching for a while, but I never thought I would be on the level he's at. And I'm not. Like, that's not why he asked me, but um I was just surprised that he, out of everyone, he would ask me. And so over the past few months, we've spent a lot of time on mentorship work. So I've taken courses, I've worked with him one on one. I'll review my client plans with him. I'll review my clients' check-ins with him. If there's like, questions I have or things I don't understand. And then I went 2 weeks ago down to Florida to go train with him, and to do some more mentorship work. So him and I spent like a whole weekend just deep diving on like different aspects of bodybuilding coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And like I coach a lot of lifestyle athletes and clients, so lifestyle coaching as well.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but it was a great trip because it was for me as like a prep athlete, but also as a coach. So it's been a few months, and this year's really going to ramp up. I'm really excited about when we do make a more formal announcement because that will hopefully it'll formalize things, but then hopefully it'll bring a little bit more business my way and our way, and it'll give him an opportunity to have like an official assistant coach to help him because he has so many athletes and he has a huge workload. So
I know. Yeah, he does have a lot of athletes. I know.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're giving me another exclusive here talking about this, so I appreciate that too.
Well, yeah. So when we make the formal announcement, because I can't really talk about what the announcement's going to entail, but it's no secret that I am his assistant coach. But you're right, I haven't really talked about it anywhere yet. So
No, I
another
appreciate it.
exclusive for FBB Forum.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Um, Now I was curious, in terms of your emceeing, how did you get involved in that? And you're also the athlete interviews, but how did that start?
Yeah. So I'm comfortable on camera. Like I at the gym I work at here in New Jersey, like I constantly film content for them, and like it's always just one take, like I don't ever need like a script or anything. And
Mm-hmm.
started to notice that. And then I had my YouTube series from 2022, and that just came really naturally to me. And like I had a career before fitness that had me constantly public speaking,
Mm-hmm.
so I've always been comfortable with that stuff. And then the first emceeing gig was for the Sharu Classic in India, in Delhi.
Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I think I had spoken to you, I think right after that.
That's true.
And that came about because so Sharu Angrish, he's located here in New Jersey, but he is huge in the world of bodybuilding, and um, he comes from India and really started promoting bodybuilding internationally. He built
Mm-hmm.
out bodybuilding in India, in Asia, really.
Okay.
Um, so him and his business partner here own a gym in North Brunswick. Well, it's a UFC gym, and they wanted to make it more of a bodybuilding style gym. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, before it was a typical UFC gym, but they didn't have very many competitors there. So through a connection of mine, they reached out to me and they asked if I wanted to come and start training there and filming content for them. And so we reached an agreement. I would go there like once every week, 2 weeks, and I would film any number of videos, whether it was like tutorials, how to's, like funny videos, like don't do this in the gym etiquette, stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I started doing that more and more. And then they asked me to go to India with them last June. So I went, I think it was last June. Yeah. So I went to Delhi, and I didn't know at first why they wanted me to go. And then they, like right before, they were like, we're going to have you MC the show. And I was like, really? Like,
Mm.
that's a great opportunity. I'd love that. But like, this is broadcast internationally. So
Hmm.
I went and I had a couple of other people do it with me, but I did it the entire time and I loved it. And that honestly,
Mm.
like, it wasn't so organized that I had like a list of all the competitors and an order of events. It was more just like, we're going to try this out and see if it works. And it worked really well. So after
Cool.
that, I had all this content and then more people kept asking me. So right after that, um, I did the athlete interviews at Team Universe on
Yeah.
Wednesday at Team Universe for NPC News Online. And the way I got hooked up with that was my very good friend, Joe, who runs HD Physiques. He was doing the camera work
Mm.
for those interviews. So he's good
Yeah.
friends with JM, and he works with JM a lot of times on those interviews. So since it was right here in my backyard, he was like, "Do you want to come do the interviews?" I was like, "Absolutely, great, perfect timing." So I came off of the emceeing, did the interviews there. Then I emceed another or live streamed another show or live stream commentary for another show, the for Victor Martinez's show here or it was in the Bronx. So I did that one, and then I got invited to go down to Texas for the Texas Pro, and do the NPC News Online interviews there, and that was really cool because I was supposed to do it in tandem with someone else, and she decided at the last minute that she wasn't comfortable in front of the camera, so I got
Mm.
all of them.
Nice.
Which at first I was like, crap, like this is a lot of work, but it was so cool because that to me was really important because I was talking to like these athletes that were now qualified for the Olympia. So I was like, these are people that I am trying to emulate. Like I want to be on the same level as them. Like I
Yeah.
am on the same level as them. So getting to interview them was great. I did like all of the check-in interviews. So that was like we had a line of athletes because JM would see them when they checked in. He'd be like, go over there, talk to NPC News Online. So we had a line of athletes. And then
Nice.
every time someone won a division, they came over and we talked to them, and that was
Okay.
great. So that was the last time I did any interviews, and then because that was towards the tail end of the season, and now as the season picks back up, I mean, if anyone watching this, they need someone to do interviews or MC or live stream commentary, I'm your girl.
I was curious about that, if you had any plans to continue doing that. Of course, not a show that you're competing in, I would think, but
No.
other shows.
Nothing scheduled right now, and I think I mean, it just makes sense. Like you don't want to be interviewing your competition necessarily. So, but if something comes up, I'm sure with some of the smaller local shows around here, Team Universe, I'll probably do that again. You know, like the national level shows. And really, honestly, wherever like Joe from HD Physique, since we're such good friends, if it's a show I'm going to be at and he's doing the camera work and doesn't have anyone, like he usually asks me, like, "Hey, can you do this?"
That's terrific. Joe is a good guy. I've met him a few times, and he does a good job.
And the great thing is, I'm excited about this. He is in St. Louis, so when I go for St. Louis Pro, he's going to be there. So I'm excited because it'll be like I've gone out there to visit him before and do shoots and stuff, but it'll be great to be back and be around some
Will you
friends.
do some more shoots with him, do you think, this year?
I imagine, yeah, if I'm going to be in St. Louis, we'll probably do one. And then, I mean, it really just depends on if I'm like in shoot shape, which this year I will be. Last year I wasn't really. And he was
Yeah.
like, "Do them if you want." I was like, "I don't really want to memorialize my off-season physique. I'm
Oh,
okay."
sure. I understand.
So this year, I'm sure we'll get a bunch of content.
Do you think you might go back to India this year too? And I was going
Um,
to say the Indian names would be challenging, I would think, as the MC. Give me a chart like with pronunciation indicators.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I like when I was doing that show, I was kind of grateful I didn't have the list of names because I knew I was going to butcher them. I just knew it, and I would say it. I'd be like, "I'm so sorry, I'm not saying this name right." But I don't know. I don't have. There's no plans for me to go back to India just yet. I don't think like the June one could work, but it might not work as well. And then
Mm.
the next show they have after that is in November, which would be after the Olympia. So I was gonna go this past November, but then they last minute didn't need me because they sold the right. I believe they sold the rights of the live stream to like a national television station, so they didn't need anyone to do the commentary.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
but yeah, if they needed me, I would absolutely go. It was such a cool experience. Like I had never been to India before, and it was a beautiful country. Everyone was so friendly, so hospitable, and it's been a dream of mine to like have bodybuilding take me around the world and give me these opportunities and experience different things. So yeah, if the opportunity is there, I would absolutely go back.
That's terrific. No, I think that's very good. Well, we're almost out of time, and I've kept you longer than I was supposed to anyway. But would you mind doing a quick flex for me? And I'll ask you to talk, and I'll put myself on mute because of the way the camera switches back and forth.
You want me to talk while I'm doing the flexing? Okay. You ready? Okay. This is 11 weeks out, you guys. 11 weeks. They told me to grow my arms, so I hopefully we grow my arms. Yeah.
You look terrific. Yeah, I think you're gonna kick some butt on stage, I think. So very
Yeah.
excited for you.
Oh, yeah, I am.
And I do hope you make it to the Olympia this year too. I'll definitely be rooting for you. So yeah, definitely and best wishes too with helping out Justin with coaching as well. I think that's terrific.
Thank you. Yeah, stay tuned. We got some really exciting announcements coming out on that, and like I said, my YouTube series. Our first episode debuts actually tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time. That'll go up live.
Oh, cool. I'll make sure to include your Instagram and Justin and Kenny and also your YouTube link, your channel link as well. So oh, that's exciting. So that's good timing too for the yeah.
Yeah. It all like the past few weeks, everything started to really like take off and happen. So it's the momentum is very exciting. So yeah.
That's terrific. Yeah, best wishes in St. Louis too. And
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. Well, thanks again for your time, Jess. Appreciate it. And I'll get this posted soon.
Okay. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Take care.
See ya.